Welcome to the Cryptosphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. Today is Sunday, October 10th at 9:39 p.m. here in sunny California. In tonight's video, we are going to look at the XRP charts, the Bitcoin charts. I'm also going to look at four assets that have been requested. I'm looking at OMG, which I haven't actually looked at before, I don't think. Taking a look at MATIC, also called Polygon. Taking a look at EOS. And we're going to end by taking a look at the link charts. So we're going to look at all four of those in tandem with BTC and XRP to see what's happening in the cryptosphere today. But before I get to those, and by the way, if you want to just jump to those, there's timestamps in the description below. But I did promise to start talking to you about I wanted to address the question what to do if you become crypto rich. What to do. Let's say these numbers play out. Let's say we have a $73 XRP by the end of this year. Let's say we have a $215 Dogecoin by the end of this year. Let's say we got a $300,000 Bitcoin and the altcoin market goes crazy. What are you going to do? Well, the first thing I'd say to you is that you need to begin to plan now so that when it happens, you're not simply overwhelmed with the ecstasy of your wealth, but you've already got a plan. The problem is, if you do not create a plan for your wealth will become the plan for your life. In other words, your wealth will dominate you instead of you dominating your wealth. Your wealth will dictate the way in which you live out the rest of your life instead of you dictating the way your wealth lives. Your money will manage you instead of you managing your money, and you'll start living for whatever your money can afford you. The great problem with wealth is the way we think about it. We tend to think about wealth as the means to overcoming frustration, and I think that this is the worst possible way of understanding wealth. Most of us, when we think about wealth, what is appealing about wealth is that if I had enough money, I could create a more comfortable life for myself and for my family. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to provide not only a comfortable life for yourself and for your family, but in perpetuity. You want to create generational wealth, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But the problem is if it stops there, if your vision for wealth stops with providing comfort for yourself and for your family in perpetuity, you end up robbing your children and children's children of their purpose because everything is handed to them on a silver platter and they never have to struggle for anything. And those of us who have had to struggle, and if you're watching me now and if you're engaged in the cryptosphere, you're trying to change your life. It means you've probably been through some stuff and you know what it is to struggle. But we all know that what is born out of struggle are our dreams. Dreams are forged in the furnace of affliction. Your dreams emerge out of that furnace of affliction. But when money and wealth takes over those dreams and hijacks those dreams, they become self-centered and they become not only devoid of any ultimate meaning, but they lose the power to bring you true happiness and true joy in life. At the end of the day, I mean, you and I, we have to stop and recognize that wealthy people commit suicide all the time. We have to stop and recognize that the wealthiest people in the world are not necessarily the happiest, because there's something beating on the inside of your breast. There's a deep desire that is at the core of your human spirit that yearns not for wealth, but for meaning, for purpose. And I believe that each and every one of us has a mission here in life. And every dollar that comes into your life, you got to begin to see as a soldier in the army of your purpose. You got to be, and you got to learn how to mobilize money and make it your servant so that it begins to fulfill your purpose, or empower you to fulfill your purpose or your mission, what I would say. And so having a plan that goes beyond buying a better house, having a plan that goes beyond driving a nicer car, having a plan that goes beyond paying off your debts, having a plan that goes beyond having more money in the bank and more trinkets and more jewelry and more clothes, having a plan that goes beyond that. Who cares about that? I mean, that stuff is cool for about 3 months. And then after a while, it's just a house. After a while, it's just a car. After a while, it's just a watch. You know, I see these celebrities and some of these guys who, this is a $1 million watch. Who cares? It's just a watch. At the end of the day, it doesn't feel like more around your wrist because it's worth more. It's a trinket, and at the end of the day, it has no value. But do you know what does have value? Is if you could create something of meaning in the world that solves a problem, that makes the world a better place, that benefits humanity. From an evolutionary perspective, I would say that there's something on the inside of each and every one of us that desires not just to acquire more resources for ourselves and our families, our tribe, but for all of humanity. To make the world a better place. Now, as a believer in Jesus Christ, I would say that God has put something on the inside of every human being that longs, that yearns for significance, that yearns for partnership with Him. As a believer in Jesus Christ, as a Christian, I would say that God is on a mission, and He invites each and every one of us to join that mission, to do something as we discern His will and His plan that makes the world a better place, that causes our lives to be a reflection of His love and His grace. So, I mean, I could preach ad nauseum about that, but I'm not going to. I want to stop here and pivot and ask the question, whenever I start talking this way, the question that people ask me is, how do you discover that? I mean, how do you find out your mission? And first thing I want to say is there's a difference between your purpose and your mission. Tonight I want to talk to you about your mission. I'll talk to you another time about your purpose, because I believe it's an extremely important distinction. Your mission was not what you were created for. It's what you're here to do, not the reason for your existence. It's an important distinction, but I'll come back to that at another time. But what we're trying to discover is our mission tonight. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to do something. What is it that I'm supposed to do, and how do I discover it? Well, what I would suggest to you tonight is that your mission is discovered at the collision point between your gifts and your passions. So between now and the end of the year, your homework is to discover that collision point between your gifts and your passions. When I say your passions, there's 3 different kinds of passion. The first is avid enthusiasm, stuff that you're enthusiastic about, excited about. The second is pathos or grief. What causes you to grieve? What moves your heart? What moves your eyes to tears? What breaks your heart? I should say, what problem in the world breaks your heart and moves you to tears? And then the third form of passion is anger. What angers you? What stirs up your wrath? Those 3 represent your passions. If you could even just take a piece of paper and write enjoyment, grief, anger. And you have to be specific, like not just what makes you happy. You could write eating ice cream, but I mean like what activity or even productive activity brings you joy. And it could be playful. It could be playing video games. Maybe that does it for you. It could be studying crypto charts. Maybe that does it for you. But moving from the enjoyment category to the grief category, what breaks your heart? And then thirdly, what makes you angry? Now, when I begin to answer those questions for myself, it explains why I'm here, why I'm in the crypto sphere. Why am I making these videos? Why am I looking at these charts? Because what I enjoy doing is technical analysis. What I enjoy doing is studying the value of assets. What I enjoy doing is looking into the crypto sphere, this whole new world that is opening up, and it's so enjoyable. And when I first started back in 2017 and I first started studying technical analysis and looking at charts, I fell in love with it. And I was in the charts sometimes 8 to 10 hours a day. I was failing at my day job. It was like it was all consuming. I was not doing well with my wife for a hot minute there. And I had to take a hard reset after about 3 months of that because it was overwhelming my life, but I enjoyed it so much I couldn't stop. It was like this overwhelming enjoyment. And that enjoyment, cut off from your other forms of passion, is less than a mission. It actually becomes an addiction. So enjoyment without grief, without anger, without a mission is an addiction. I enjoy it, but that joy is just for me. It doesn't benefit anyone else. But my grief, I grieve. I hate poverty. And what breaks my heart is to see people at any level of poverty, people struggling. You're a human being. And if you're a human being, we are a brotherhood and a sisterhood from all over the world who have never met one another. But to think that more than half the world's population lives on less than $2 a day, that breaks my heart. To know that 40,000 children starve to death around the world every day, that breaks my heart. But a specific segment, I live in the Bay Area, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's 33,000 homeless people in the Bay Area. And out of those 33,000 homeless people, 30% of them had, when they became homeless, had no drug, alcohol, or mental illness issues. So it had nothing to do with drugs, alcohol, or mental illness. But a high percentage of those individuals adopted drug and alcohol problems and mental illness issues after becoming homeless. So homelessness actually created drug, alcohol, and mental illness issues. The question that I wanted to know was, then why did they become homeless? And the answer is that such a high percentage of people who live in the Bay Area are living $600 away from homelessness. All it takes is a $600 disaster and they can't pay their rent. The car breaks down and they can't get to work, but if they can't get to work, they can't get paid. So they got to fix the car, but now that they fixed the car, they can't pay their rent. Their credit cards are maxed out. They got no family members or friends that they could call upon. What are they going to do? That breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And I talk to people often when I'm on the street and I meet homeless people and they tell me their stories, and it boggles my mind that this was actually a working individual who was doing his best to provide for his family, and one little issue, or he got laid off from his job, or he got sick and all of his sick leave was used up and he was let go and he became homeless. That is the specific people who live on the edge of homelessness. And where my heart goes with that grief is there anything I could do to help people who are living on the edge of disaster? And it makes me angry. It makes me angry. What makes me angry is seeing the way the economic system, especially of our country here in America, but across the world, exploits the poor, rewards the rich. And so when I began to put those three things together, to see how expensive it is to be poor, the poorer you are, the higher the percentage rate's going to be on your loan when you go to the bank. The poorer you are, the less resources you have access to. The richer you are, the more free stuff you get. Isn't that interesting? The way the world is set up right now, it's designed to reward rich people and punish poor people. That makes me angry. And so I make these crypto videos because I found something I love that can serve something that causes me grief and stimulates my anger. All three of those things together give me a mission So now when I'm looking at the charts, I'm not just looking at the charts for my personal enjoyment because I like the charts and because I want to make a lot of money. I could turn this off and make money by myself, but I make these videos. I look at the charts, and when I realized that, I thought the best thing I could do is use this passion for the charts to try to help people better their lives. Because I know there's people watching me. I know some of you right now are struggling. And you want to make the world a better place. So that's passion. And then the other side are your gifts. You got your passions, but now your gifts. And you could even put this on another sheet of paper. What are your gifts? The key is to find the collision point between your passions and your gifts. You got some stuff that you're passionate about but not gifted in. And other stuff that you're gifted in but not passionate about. For instance, in the avid enjoyment piece, I love to play golf. I play golf every week, at least once a week, as much as I possibly can. I play golf, typically once a week. I was supposed to get out this afternoon, but I couldn't. I'm hoping to get out tomorrow. I'm passionate about golf. The problem is I'm not a gifted golfer. I don't have a gift that corresponds to this passion. See, you'll have a lot of passions that you're not gifted to do. And if you've got a passion but not a gift, it's not your mission. And if you've got a gift but not a passion, it's not your mission. But when you discover that you've got a passion and you've got a gift, and those two collide, you've discovered at least a piece of your mission, meaning, I can use this to make the world a better place. I've got a gift, something that I can add to the world that can better people's lives. I have a contribution to make. See, the problem with mission, when you talk to most people about what's your mission, what do you want to do, we tend to think in terms of accomplishments instead of contributions. And we got it all wrong. Accomplishment is a very selfish, me-centered way of thinking about my mission. I would like to be this. I would like to get this. I would like to have this. I would like to do this. If it's an athlete, I'm envisioning myself receiving the gold medal, standing on that podium. I would like to receive this. If it's a business, I want my company to be a top company in a multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation. Stop thinking about what you want to accomplish for yourself and start thinking about what you want to contribute to the world. I want to build a company that ends poverty. I want to build a company that attacks a particular kind of poverty. It could be simpler. I want to make music that touches people's hearts. I want to make music that gives joy to people who are depressed, that lightens the load, that makes people feel better about themselves. What can I contribute? And if you begin to think about your mission as a contribution rather than an accomplishment, it'll change your whole way of life. It'll change your whole way of thinking. And it'll also position your mind and heart to be able to ask the question, how can I direct the wealth that is coming into my life toward this mission? And you know what? If you begin to think that way, and you begin to mobilize your money to make a contribution to the lives of others, you begin to invest in that vision, your time, your energy, and there's other components of it that we'll talk about in videos to come. You'll be ready. But not only that, if you make a contribution, you've also made a huge accomplishment. Accomplishment is the necessary fruit of contribution. Like, if you actually are providing resources that better people's lives, that improve the quality of people's lives, you have accomplished something. You might actually end up on the podium getting the gold medal or getting the Grammy. In other words, if you set out to get the Grammy, the odds are you're not going to get it. But if you set out to make music that changes people's lives, and you simply focus all of your energy upon making that contribution, I want people to listen to this music and it just lifts them out of the pit, whatever it is. Creating designs, if you're a designer, that communicate to the heart, both the right and the left side of the brain, that just make people come alive. Whatever it is, Dr. Martin Luther King talked about, if you're a street sweeper, sweep the streets like it's like, be the best street sweeper you possibly can. You can give you can give a purpose to anything. It doesn't matter what your vocation is. You can make a mission out of it because you can find a way to use that vocation to make a contribution to the lives of others. And do you know what you find in that place? A sense of meaning, happiness, joy, peace. All of a sudden you discover that you actually can sleep in peace every night, wake in joy every morning, and walk in love every day. All right, that's my sermon for this evening. I haven't given you one in quite a while, but thought I would just talk candidly with you for a little while. Hope that helped. All right, let's jump into this XRP chart, and we're going to go through these charts quickly. I'm going to give you a quick market update, and then we're going to move on. First of all, we can see, I want you to notice that XRP is in a triangle. It's a, what's the word I'm looking for? Symmetric triangle, sorry. A symmetric triangle is neither bearish nor bullish inherently. However, we're seeing this widening of the RSI. And so if the RSI starts moving toward the top of its trend, I'm sorry, my brain is still on this whole talk. If the RSI starts going to the top of its trend, then of course the price action is going to break out. And if we break out of this triangle, it takes us up to $7.83. So using three different methodologies for calculating the price, we're between $5.8 and $10 by the end of this year. And as I showed you in the last video, we could go way above that. And I actually have a end-of-year target, a top end-of-year target here for XRP of $73. So just keep your eyes open and your hearts open and just watch. Let's just see what's going to happen here. Jumping over to the BTC chart. Sorry, my computer is really slow right now. Jumping over to the BTC chart, we are really bullish here. This is the 21-day EMA that we're strongly above. Look at this, man. I mean, look at how we've broken out. Remember I said if the RSI breaks above this line, that's going to be really bullish for BTC. I think we're making a run at the all-time high. As long as the RSI stays above this line, maybe it might come back and retest and then bounce, but we need to just keep watching BTC. Looking at the daily chart of BTC, what we're going to see in a moment is that we're trying to break above this consolidation point. We're breaking above the resistance there at the top of that consolidation point. That also is very, very bullish for BTC. All right, I'm going to look at OMG, MATIC, EOS, and then Link, and then we're going to get out of here tonight. OMG, yeah, if my computer's going to last that long. All right, OMG, I'm seeing a couple things. First thing I'm seeing is that we're inside this rising wedge, which is actually a bearish, it's called a reversal pattern. However, the RSI has broken above its trend here. So we had bearish divergence in the RSI, but we've overcome that because we made a higher high here in the RSI. So I'm seeing mixed signals in the OMG chart. The first signal is this bearish ascending wedge, which is a reversal pattern that would signify that we're coming back down to $4.50. But the second thing I'm seeing is the RSI has broken out. The MACDs are crazy bullish, and the RSI broke out of its trend, and so it invalidates that bearish divergence. And so if we break bullish out of this trend, it could take us all the way up to $265 by the end of the year, which is basically 20x from where it is now. And secondly, if we press toward the top of this trend line here, that's an outlandish target of $1,398. Could be by the end of this year or later, probably later. I think this target is probably the top of what I would anticipate for OMG by the end of this year, if that. But, it's yet to be seen if we're going to break bullish out of this triangle, because it is bearish, and that is concerning. Taking a look at MATIC/Polygon. Not sure why it's called MATIC and Polygon. Have no idea. Once again, we've got a symmetric triangle, and it's neither bearish nor bullish. Same thing here in the RSI. If we break bullish out of here, the MACDs, of course, have to turn. The MACDs are pointing down, but the MACDs have to turn. If we break bullish out of here, the break of this symmetric triangle takes us up to $12.50, and if we press toward the top of this trend line here, that takes us all the way up to $692 for MATIC, which is absolutely insane. I mean, I just don't see how it could possibly hit that mark by the end of the year, but all things are possible, so stay tuned. I mean, of course, it could hit the top of this line earlier in the year, and that would substantially take it down from this top target. But either way, I'm holding my MATIC. Of course, if we break down bearish out of here, that's not good. If the RSI breaks down and the price action breaks down, that's not good. We're going to have further correction and further consolidation, and then we'll have to kind of redraw this whole thing and reassess at that point. But I'm hoping for the best and believing for a bullish break. EOS, same thing here. We're in a triangle, and if we chart, let me see if I can get out of here. Let's see if we break. What is happening? Man, my computer is really acting up. Yeah, so if we chart the break of this triangle, let's see where it takes us. So about 461% from the break. So if we break here, if we break here, there it is. That would be $27 for EOS. So, yeah, I think EOS could easily hit the top of its trend, and that would be about 10x for EOS by the end of the year. So I'm believing for a $48 EOS, but $28 I would settle for and be very happy with by the end of the year. All right, let's take a look at Link. All right, Link is in a symmetric triangle as well. However, we're seeing bearish divergence in the RSI. I'm really concerned about Link. We would have to overcome this bearish divergence, which means we'd have to make a higher high in the RSI. We'd have to break bullish out of this and make a higher high in the RSI. Otherwise, Link is probably going to break down beneath this line and correct and consolidate some more. But if somehow we get a bullish break for Link, it could take us up to $126 by the end of the year. I could probably find an intermediate target as well if I can get something to work here. Let's see. Yeah, 449%. So if we got a bullish break about here, yeah, that takes us even higher. 449%. So that's not an intermediate target. That's actually a target that's higher. So let's see. Yeah, a little lower. All right. Yep, so that's it for Link. We just got to watch it and make sure that it breaks out bullish here. I mean, if it does not break out bullish, if it breaks down, I'm really concerned about this bearish divergence in the RSI. It's already starting to play out as we made a lower high in the price action. So, I mean, it was telegraphing all the way back here in August of 2020. It started telegraphing, and sure enough, the breakdown here was in May. So we're going to have to overcome that. It's yet to be seen if it will overcome that. It's possible. I mean, if everything starts moving, the whole market takes off. Link should take off with the market, and I think probably the $126. My previous target was $150 for Link. So it very well might hit that, but we shall wait and see. All right, folks, that's all I got for you tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. Do me a favor and smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and leave me a comment letting me know what you thought about this video and any ideas that you have for future videos. I'd appreciate it. I'd love to hear it. Also, remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my opinion. Take it or leave it. And with that being said, make it your aim to sleep in peace every night, wake in joy every morning, and walk in love every day. This is Cryptogenic, signing out.